pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Does everybody have their microphones in place?
Does that mean? Yeah, it is. Why is it so loud?
I don't know if that's
Seems turned up high.
Okay.
Just put it on. It's like ripping the
The
band-aid.
shadow of your smile.
Who did
All
that?
right.
Oh, can we all start singing?
No.
No. Roll call.
Chisel.
Here.
Neal.
Here.
Carlson.
Here.
Luce.
Yes.
Bergen's absent. Hadley.
Aye.
Johnson.
Here.
Public comment, WCDI, quarterly report and updates. Stephanie Baum.
Hello.
Hello.
This is kind of a little echoey. I am Stephanie, as you all know. It's been a great last year for economic development, as many of you are aware. I just want to go through just a few highlights that are included in that quarterly report that I had provided, and then just see if you had any questions in regards to what was submitted in your Dropbox. Work-based learning, we started this initiative about a year ago. We launched this partnership group between private businesses and public schools and tried to bridge that gap and try to kind of open the doors for students to help understand better about what sort of industries and businesses are here locally. It's gone really great. On the last year, which was our first actual calendar year that we went through it, we had just over 360 students enrolled in 16 different business and career readiness courses within the Winneshiek County high schools. So those took place at the Southwind High School and then also in Decorah. Our local STEAM Day was also an initiative that we started maybe 3 years ago, and that was to incorporate the 8th grade, the 6th through 8th grade classes. And then now this last year, we actually just did the 8th graders and tried to get them into industries here locally. So we had 150 students involved in that this year and this last fall, and just over 13 different local businesses participated. And that was, just an afternoon. We kind of bussed kids around, groups of 15 to 20 students, and a variety of different industries, including Top and Goliath was actually one of them. So they got to learn the science behind that, the art behind designing the cans and the labels, which is really neat. And the students and teachers both really enjoyed that. Decorah's Hy-Vee project, I just want to give just a real brief update because I've gotten a lot of feedback and questions in my office, and I know you've probably been hearing them as well. They are coming still. They are, I hear all the typing over here, so that's a little distracting. They're still reviewing and refining the details of their layout and floor plans, and you can expect work to start once they have been finalized, is all I have to report tonight. In late fall. Okay.
Whatever that means.
Whatever, I didn't say that, so. Okay. Echo Development, they should be breaking ground for their phase 1 here late spring, early summer of 2020. Marceau Electric, I'm not sure if he's here tonight because I know he's on the agenda. Great new business addition in our business park. I'm really excited to have him up there. The Visit Decorah tourism efforts, we're just continuing to work with our great partnership with the Chamber, Cubic, and other local marketing firms, and finalizing different ad designs for the calendar year, the 2019 year, and then into our visitor guide, which is almost finished. We're just looking over some of the final versions of that. We've really changed that into more of a visitor reference guide. There's a lot of really great content in that guide that will be helpful for visitors of all kinds, whether they're beer fans, historians, or just here for the shopping. So it'll be really cool. Some other annual statistics from just our annual report. We had more than 100 different SBDC consulting sessions that took place in the Decorah area with businesses. And then our local trout tank, which is also a fan favorite. We had over 100 investors that participated this year in investing in local startups and businesses. And we raised over $7,000 in that event, which is pretty neat, which was up from the year before. And then in just looking at the childcare needs, as many of you are very aware, it is a serious crisis here locally and within the state of Iowa and actually nationally too. I just recently wrote a letter to the editor for both media outlets here tonight, just kind of highlighting where we are in the project. We worked all day on paper surveys that will be mailed out. Hopefully by Wednesday is our goal. There's 1,700 paper copies that will be mailed out to homes that have children in them within a 20-mile radius of Decorah. That was highlighted on our labor shed study as a very common commuting distance to go to work, which I believe is a really kind of safe target for us at this point. And just releasing the online version of that survey, I simply just shared it on my Facebook profile on Thursday afternoon, late afternoon, and I have over 210 responses as of before I walked down here today. So, I mean, it's a really big need, and I think, and it's going to be very evident when it comes back officially. November 15th is our cutoff date, and from there we're going to really reassess and what our next steps are. But to have that local data that we kind of generated ourselves, I think will be really helpful to lean on to say, this is what the community is asking for, and this is what we've been told. But does anyone have any questions for me?
I'm excited about the potential for the childcare.
Yeah.
I hear also, there was an article even in the New Cityscape about different cities and what they've been trying to do. We heard about it when we were at League.
I've gotten some really great
Huge.
feedback. Yeah, even in my email. I mean, people are emailing me from all over the place that are reading about it, just in our local media that have maybe lived here at one point in time and moved away. And they're saying, you know, kudos to you for taking this on because this is a serious project. And, you know, that was some of the reasons why they moved away. They're like, you should have included some sort of question tracking people who actually moved away because of it, because they were one of them. And I don't know how you really cater to those, find those people, you know, but she did share a really great story with me, and I'd be happy to forward it along. But, yeah, exciting.
Well,
Causing.
I appreciate the hard work you and your board do, and people in your office space as well, for encouraging ongoing development in the city.
Thank you.
Great having you here.
I have one quick question. Well, I don't know if it's quick or not. I was just curious, and I want to first say thank you. Your report was really helpful, and as a new city council member,
Yeah.
it was so informative. So I really appreciate the detail that you put into it. I just had a question in terms of when you look for new businesses, because you mentioned a couple times that you're actively seeking and working with people. Are there criteria that you look for, or how do you cast that net? And what's the process for going through that?
Well, the Hy-Vee one would be a good example. I mean, Quillen's had just recently shut down, and the conversation with the potential developer was kind of starting. So that would be a good example of that. There was a need there that was kind of identified. It used to be one, a very active one, and then that was kind of slowly going away. So it was just a conversation that we would have with developers like that, and they would kind of come to us. I know we had just actually heard from another community that actually actively surveys their constituents annually or semi-annually, just to get sort of feedback on what they're looking for. So I think we would be interested in doing something like that, probably with the local chamber as well. But in the past, it's simply been conversations that I've had, and it's frequently more and more the same kind of conversation that keeps popping up.
Do you go to events where you meet people that are, I mean, is there organizations that you go to or conferences you go to that
Yeah.
you have that opportunity of exploring options?
Yeah, I mean, the relationships that you build through a position like this, I mean, I think are key. And it's often, you know, you meet one developer or one person and they connect you with another one because you may have brought something up in a conversation. But yes, there are conferences that are kind of catered to that. Yep.
Okay.
I just appreciate the increased communication. I've really noticed it from both jobs in the chamber. I feel like there's a better direct line of communication now. It's very very helpful.
And if you would like to see anything different on those reports, I'm happy to kind of change them up. But
Thank you.
Okay,
Thanks,
thank you
Steph.
very much. Is there anybody else here that would like to speak to the council about something that is not on the agenda? Seeing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda.
Consent agenda consists of the minutes of October 7, 2019 meeting, claims, renew a Class E liquor license for Decorah Mart, including Class B wine, Class C beer, and Sunday sales privileges, new special Class C beer wine license for Luther College, Center for the Arts, including Sunday sales, C3 commercial design review, building exterior renovation, 302 Washington Street, C3 commercial design review, building exterior renovation for paint, 222 East Water Street, C3 commercial design review, building sign, 106 Washington Street. Item H, consider travel reimbursement policy. Resolution 3012, authorizing transfers related to 2016 flood event. Resolution 3016, reimbursement resolution for 2019 Lower Ridge Road improvements. Partial pay estimate number 8, final quantity closeout for dry run box culvert project in the amount of $89.04. Partial pay estimate number 9, release of retainage for dry run box culvert project in the amount of $15,872.99. Change order number 5, final dry run box culvert project in the amount of $13,813.65. And partial pay estimate number 1, 2019 street improvement project in the amount of $138,644.40.
I just had a quick question on the 302 Washington Street. In the packet, it doesn't show rezoning, but one of the pictures looks like it might be residential
I wondered about that.
because it's detailing the window material, but it shows a bed. And we're adding windows to that space. Is that building still going to be a commercial space, or is it being
That's-
used residential?
No, that's just a commercial, conceptual design of the windows. So it's a sample of the window that they intend to use.
Okay,
So that's just a stock photo that the applicant provided, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I get it. No,
all right. So the
no, it's
building,
still intended to be commercial,
commercial, okay.
as far as I know.
But it would need to be rezoned.
C3 commercial allows for residential second floor and above.
Okay.
So
Sure.
if they would do that, they would be allowed in that zoning. But that's not the intent.
Right. I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call?
Hadley,
Aye.
Chisel,
Aye.
Neal,
Aye.
Carlson,
Aye.
Luce,
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Public hearing on proposed amendment to the 2017 Commercial Business Park Urban Revitalization Area.
Okay, Mayor, we heard from our special bond counsel today that there's an error in our publication notice. Despite having published notice twice, we still didn't get it right. So I need to ask you to table the public hearing, table the resolution 3013, and table the ordinance 1239 so that we can get it published. But I need you to act on resolution 3017, which sets the date for the public hearing. And one may ask why you can do that when it's not on the agenda, because our bond counsel says that there has been sufficient notice to the public on this matter that you can approve resolution 3017, setting a date for publication and public hearing for November 4th at 5:45 p.m.
And which one are you talking about? Resolution?
5, 6, and 7 on the
I've gotcha.
agenda. So I would ask that council consider resolution 3017, setting a date for a public hearing, November 4th, 5:45 p.m.
Okay, one question, is it 3013 or 37?
You're tabling 3013, and you're tabling ordinance 1239
Okay,
in favor of resolution 3017, which is not on the agenda.
That's not
There.
here.
I'd make a motion to table resolution 3013 and ordinance 1239 for a future session.
I'll second it.
any further discussion?
If it's tabled, doesn't it automatically come to the next session?
So you're really just approving Resolution 3017, yes.
Yep.
Setting a date for public hearing, those things will come to the next session.
And that was for November.
And my apologies for that oversight. Again, we published it twice, but still didn't hit the mark according to our bond counsel, so.
And that's November
November 4th,
4th. I got you.
5:45.
Okay, roll call.
Hadley?
Aye.
Neal?
Aye.
Chisel?
Aye.
Carlson?
Aye.
Luce?
Aye.
Johnson?
Aye.
Consider Resolution 3008, approving the proposed lease agreement with Raleigh Aviation Properties Incorporated.
Assume the lease got finalized?
The lease did get finalized. We had a lengthy meeting with John Anderson, City Attorney, and the Airport Commission, and the project manager for Nick Raleigh, Jacob Norman, on Wednesday. And we do have an agreement. We just received a verification email that I think he even maybe electronically signed it. We'll work on getting that hard signature in the next couple of days. There was a public hearing held on this at the last meeting on October 7th. Just to run through, Raleigh Aviation is proposing a corporate hangar for the airport on the south side of the runway 29. That would be off the Ocean Blacktop. All expenses and costs incurred for the improvement would be borne by Raleigh Aviation. They have committed to basing at least one aircraft here. They do own upwards of two or three aircraft. I don't know, everything else we've either talked about before or is in the background notes, so we have approval, so staff and the Airport Commission recommend the council approve.
I'd move for approval of Resolution 3008.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
I'm sorry, who seconded that, Luce?
I did.
Yep. Chisel?
Aye.
Luce?
Yes.
Carlson?
Aye.
Neal?
Aye.
Hadley?
Aye.
Johnson?
Aye.
Consider professional service, sorry.
Yes.
Sure.
I'm sorry, and I'm probably being picky here, but going back to the last motion,
Mm-hmm.
the motion was actually to table resolution 3013 and 1239. And I know what your intent is, but
Nobody actually said,
made a resolution, or made a motion to approve
Right.
resolution 3017.
I would move 3017.
Thank you.
Second.
Roll call? Any discussion? Do you have any discussion? You have a little question mark right in your face.
No, I just want to make sure we,
Okay.
we get the one we don't forget to get resolution 3008. Did we finish the vote on that?
No, we didn't.
Okay, so that's why I was,
Matt,
No, we did.
No, we did.
oh, we did, okay.
Yep.
I want to make sure we got that.
Yep.
Okay,
I'm with you, John.
You interrupted at the right moment.
okay,
Yep.
Okay.
okay.
And so we have a motion on Resolution 3017 by Luce and a second by Johnson. And we'll call the roll. Luce?
Aye.
Johnson?
Aye.
Carlson?
Aye.
Hadley?
Aye.
Neal?
Aye.
Chisel?
Aye.
Okay, now on to the next one. Consider professional services agreement with Terracon Consultants, Inc. for geotechnical data report, Phase 2, not to exceed $35,350 for the Locust Road Improvement Project.
So we completed staff level Phase 1 investigation of Locust Road. There were some discontinuances, and I had to ask for a definition of that word. And it basically means that there are incongruities, trouble spots, hot spots, if you will, in the road bed during that first review. And so this second review, Phase 2, will consider more in-depth analysis, including several soil borings along the corridor that will go to a depth of up to 15 feet and give us more specific information on type of rock formations, soil conditions, if there's just the soil makeup, whether it's wet, rocky, bedrock, et cetera. So McClure Engineering is recommending that we enter into this Phase 2 geotechnical with Terracon at a cost not to exceed $35,350. Representatives from McClure are here. They can give you more detail if there are questions from the council.
Do you foresee any other engineering expenses for testing outside of this?
No. No, it was always a plan to have a phase 1 and phase 2 for the geotech because we wanted to make sure we first identify if there's any issues and then address those particular spots and just doing a blanket every boring every 200 feet. So I don't really anticipate after this data report, it's everything else after that is already covered in our current contract, the actual geotechnical part of it. So.
Okay, thank you.
At the meeting we just had at Locust Road, Mr. Bishop, who lives on the corner of Pinecrest and Locust, said, and I mean, I see that it looks like the sites between Pinecrest and Highland will also be drilled, but he was concerned that there were some sinkholes on the side of the road there that he was experiencing. I just want to make sure that would be covered because I told him I'd verify that.
We are not actually drilling anything out of the current right-of-way. We'll be staying within our approved right-of-way. So
Okay.
if you want to do something else and that's not included in something that's out of my right-of-way, I'm not.
No, I think he was saying it's on the, I think it would, what he was describing to me, it would hit there. But you are going to test between Pinecrest and Highland?
Yes, we go
Okay.
all the way from College Drive all the way to Highland.
Okay.
But in the roadway, you're saying?
In
Yeah.
the roadway.
In the right-of-way.
Yeah.
And I think a couple of those for Mr. Bishop may be in the right-of-way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I
So-
think that area is, if you actually look in the drawing, that area between Pinecrest and that, we actually have 3 red stripe marks on there. So we found that entire zone to be a discontinuity, and I think it's because of the culvert and whatever been repaired in the past. We just want to make sure if it's a wet zone, then we have to just undo an over excavation and, put some better material down there, so.
Okay.
But again, we don't know till we actually drill, because the GPR only tells you that, okay, there is a zone of incongruity or discontinuity there, so,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thanks.
I'd move for approval of the professional services agreement with Decorah Consultants.
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call?
I was assuming
sorry.
you're not above the 35,
Yeah,
350, yeah,
as presented, yes.
thank you.
Thank you. Roll call?
Chisholm,
Aye.
Neal,
Aye.
Carlson,
Aye.
Luce,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Hadley.
Aye.
Consider Resolution 3014 approving voluntary annexation in the vicinity of the Downing Commercial Subdivision.
This is the final action. As you know, this process started as an original 80-20 voluntary annexation, meaning there was at least one property owner that was holding out involuntarily, if you will, that would have been part of the process. They have since signed a voluntary annexation agreement. And so this action would wrap up and accept this annexation area as all voluntary and close it out. The only action after tonight then would be to mail notice to the Secretary of State upon receipt of that packet by them and notification the annexation would become complete. We've talked about this through the public hearings and other council actions. So I would ask if council has any questions. Otherwise, this would complete this section in the Downing Commercial District as wholly voluntary annexation.
I have none.
I'd move for approval of resolution 3014.
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call?
Chisholm,
Aye.
Carlson,
Aye.
Luce,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Hadley,
Aye.
Neal.
Aye.
Consider ordinance 1237 approving zoning code amendments in Chapter 17, second reading.
There have been no comments received on this at City Hall that I'm aware of. These amendments in these various subsections of Chapter 17 amend the definitions, the procedures, or allowances in these various subsections for solar energy systems in the city of Decorah. This is the second reading.
I'd make a motion to adopt or accept ordinance 1237 and waive the third reading.
Motion just for second reading first.
Oh, second reading. Oh, sure. I'll make a motion to approve the second reading.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Hadley?
Aye.
Luce?
Aye.
Carlson?
Aye.
Neal?
Aye.
Chisel?
Aye.
Johnson?
Aye.
Now, if the council would like to consider
I'd
waiving the
move
third
to-
and adopting.
Waive the third reading and approve.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Roll call?
Luce?
Aye.
Neal?
Aye.
Chisel?
Aye.
Carlson?
Aye.
Johnson?
Aye.
Hadley?
Aye.
Consider Resolution 3015, Nana Budnet. I knew it, I was going to get this. Addition, final plot. I apologize for mispronunciation.
Nabutune Edition.
Thank you.
Which is
Napatune.
Nabutune, constructed by Ase Hagen.
I appreciate
This is a little 8-lot subdivision just south of the Venium complex off of Nordic Drive, off of Highland Drive. Patio homes, basically put together by Ase Hagen as a continuation of their aging and living in place complex. All amenities are complete, and the engineers have determined that the roadway meets specifications, or public infrastructure meets city specifications. We would ask that council consider Resolution 3015 accepting the addition. We will come back at a later time with deeds to the road and ask that you accept those deeds and dedicate it as public right-of-way. That'll be a separate action.
Sidewalks?
Sidewalks will go in as construction moves forward.
I can't see that in the, is it in the, it's in the plan.
They're on the plat.
Okay.
Yep. And I verified that last week in a phone call.
Stormwater management, are they doing the same? This is similar to the area that Mospins are doing, right, with that
Nope.
extra? No?
No, this is further to the west.
But
So.
are they installing larger,
They do have some stormwater mitigation just off to the east of the property. If you look, you can see the 8 lots and then some darker green area and the one colored map in the background notes. There is some stormwater detention there. It's minimal. As you may know, we don't have stormwater language that requires stormwater detention or retention at certain pre-calculated rates. But we do work with our developers with the codes that we have to provide for something, and they have provided for something.
And the geography of this space, it actually drains to the south toward Luther?
It's going to drain more to the south and the west.
Yeah. Thank you.
I hear a motion?
I would move Resolution 3015.
Second.
Any further discussion?
By the way, it was approved by planning and zoning.
Any further discussion?
Those sidewalks, are they on both sides of the cul-de-sac road?
They will be all the way around the cul-de-sac.
And then
As
do
cons-
they extend all the way up the east side
Right,
to
right now, they won't,
Nordic, or not until that's developed?
not until that's developed.
Thank you.
Okay, any further discussion? Roll call.
Luce,
Yes.
Hadley,
Aye.
Chisel,
Aye.
Neal,
aye.
Carlson,
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
City manager, department head, and council reports?
I would like the council to consider a work session meeting on Monday, October 28th. A couple of things that I'd like for the council to consider during that work session on the 28th is an initial review of the city's capital improvement plan. I've worked with staff, department heads, a couple of different times over the last several years on developing a bigger picture capital budget, capital plan. I've asked them to kind of modify that and update that, and I'd like to spend some time with the council reviewing that on the 28th. I had on my list here to review Chapter 16 subdivision amendments, but in conversation this week with Councilperson Bergen, she would like to set a betterment committee for immediately following the meeting on 11/4, and I think her intent would be to revisit Chapter 16 subdivisions and the city flag policy. So I might defer that there. But there are a couple of other things that I would like the council to consider during that work session. One would be to continue maybe some of the daycare discussion that Stephanie brought up tonight. Look at some conceptual planning for residential in the old Decorah building supply complex area. The owner has stepped forward and noted that they are interested in that conversation for some planning for whatever might happen in the rest of that space. Continued discussion on the Fox and Coon Club property. And then I know Chief Smutzler would like to talk about PD scheduling and just provide an update to the council at that time as well. So those would be things that I'd see on the 28th if the council's open to meeting at that time. I do have a draft chicken ordinance. John put some thought into some things that we've been hearing from council members. And of course, over the weekend, there was a flurry of comments and phone calls and whatnot. So we send this draft around now, knowing this is the first time you've had a chance to take a look at an amendment to bothersome animals. I would ask for some direction from council as to whether you want to address maybe this at the work session, if you want to hold a committee meeting, which is your normal practice to review things at the committee structure level, or if you have other thoughts or direction for us. So.
Is this public safety?
Probably not.
Community betterment?
Betterment, yeah.
I just have to say, I want to make sure we're not putting our eggs in one basket.
Of course.
Sorry, I'm sorry, I just had to say it. I think the work session would be good.
Yeah,
I
why
think
just
so.
tack it on there?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to meet, we might as well get it done.
Yeah.
We'll do that. That's it for my report. Jeremy Burrell, city engineer's not here. A couple of things he wanted me to touch on. Oneota Drive Bridge, the south half, the bridge deck has been poured. The railing, actually, he says it'll be done the week of the 21st. A lot of it was done even yesterday when I was down there. After that, the only pavement left would be the approaches on either side, so things are progressing very well. Actually, he's got a note here that it looks like the contractor's actually about 2 weeks ahead of schedule on that. So, and that's slated for end of November completion. 2019's November completion. 2019 street improvement projects. Commerce Drive, paving is complete. Minor items left. Pool Street, paving is complete. North Street, paving is actually done now. I think it opened up today.
It's open this week.
College Drive is starting today. And that'll be closed out for 3 days, 3 or so days as they do that work early this week. Shady Lane and Hilltop, concrete patching's underway. And leaf, just a note on leaf pickup, started on 10/14, October 14th, with wards 1 and 2, and will continue the week of October 21st in Ward 3. And we'll have that information on the city website as well. So.
Okay. I have asked Darren to start attending the department head meetings on the 1st and 3rd. I think it's important to carry out communication throughout all of the departments and stuff. And so I'll let you go first this time, but I may have you in next time. So, and then since he's working, depends upon who's working, whoever comes. So if you could just give us a little bit
Correct,
of
yes.
update on what you've been doing.
Okay. Tomorrow, October 22nd, we've got some firefighters going down to John Klein School for the STEAM week going on and stuff. If I do a drone demonstration, et cetera. This coming Thursday, we've got a fire station tour. A Minnesota homeschool group is coming down for a tour from Minnesota. So that takes place about 10 o'clock. This past week, Underwriters Laboratories was going to come down and do the aerial testing on the aerial truck, but they canceled out. So we got to reschedule that one for some other time. And in the process of that, we also had Sandry Fire here testing out our fire equipment, our JAWS equipment. One of our tools did not pass, and that's being repaired as we speak, and we're getting by with what we got. So
Okay.
that pretty sums it up right there.
Oh, thank you very much, Darren.
betcha.
I appreciate
Yep.
it. Okay.
This week on Friday, one of our dispatchers is going to retire. Friday the 25th will be the last shift work for Kathy Algan. Kathy's been a 911 dispatcher for our agency for 16 years. I've had the pleasure and honor of working with Kathy throughout her entire career in our dispatch center. Kathy's requested no retirement party, no fanfare, no mention of her. She's the type of person she is. So I want to take this opportunity to say a few things about Kathy so you know who she is. First of all, she's not here tonight because if she heard me mention her name, she would shut me down.
She is working.
She's working. She's at the PD right now. Kathy knows each and every one of us police officers, sheriff's deputies. She can tell by the inflection in our tone of our voice if we're in need of assistance, if we need help, if we're nervous or we're excited. You don't replace that. We know that if we're calling her for assistance, we know Kathy's going to do everything within her power, short of running to our location to give a hand. On that note, Kathy's about 5 foot nothing, 90 pounds, dripping wet, but we know that she's there for us. If you were to call 911, consider yourself lucky if Kathy answers the phone. Her kindness, caring, calmness, and compassion are unmatched. If I were to have a family member contact 911 in whatever city they reside in, I pray that Kathy's the one on the other end making that connection. Because it's more than just a job to Kathy. She cares. I want to share a quick quote about dispatchers that sums up things, and Kathy falls into this. You might forget them when you hang up the phone. You might forget them when you hang up the uniform at the end of the shift, but they don't forget you. They don't forget the fear on the other end of the radio or the telephone. They don't forget how you react to the situation that is ongoing. They are sad when you lose a loved one. They rejoice when you find your missing child. If the world were to shake and crumble, they'd leave their own families to answer your 911 calls. Just, again, I wanted to take a few minutes to say thank you to Kathy for all she's done for our agency and for me. The countless times that I've called her for help.
Hey, Dave.
Yeah.
You know, even though she's not here, she'd be embarrassed. That we could just give her a round of applause and then you could pass it on to her.
I got one more thing to say.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were.
I'm gonna say
Okay,
one last
sorry
thing,
about
and I'm
that.
gonna say it one last time, and that's just an honor for her tonight, and you'll never hear me say these words again, but go Pack, go.
Oh, yay!
Yeah, that's great. That's great. She's been a valued employee for many, many years. Anything else?
We have the hiring process still going on. We're still looking to fill the 2 positions. We have 4 people that we're doing background checks on. 3 are certified, 1's not certified. Background checks are due about the 30th, and then after that, we'll meet with the Civil Service Commission to rank the 4 officers. We just started the hiring process to fill Kathy's spot. We had a surprising 15 applicants put in for the position, all the way from seasoned dispatchers that are right now working dispatch centers to those that have no experience. And the test date, we're coming up to that. I think in about 2 weeks we'll do the test for that, and we'll try to have that position filled in about 6 weeks.
Good. Thank you. Andy?
The group of veterans that made its way to the council here looking for a site for a memorial got to the park board this past week at that meeting and are working with the park board to see if there might be a suitable location in the parks, possibly the park for veterans memorial.
That was a great discussion.
Yep. Record crowd at the park.
The board was impressed. Mike?
We passed our yearly boiler inspection last week, so that's always a good thing. And also we did a small upgrade to our chemical feed system that feeds polymer to our drum thickener. Staff installed it, got trained last week, and hopefully tomorrow we're going to fire it up and see how good it works. So the other one lasted 20, 22 years, so finally
Whoa,
worked.
wow.
So that's all I got.
Hey, Wanda?
Okay, I gave everybody a tentative timeline for the fiscal 21 budget. And when I say tentative, I mean it may be fluid, but these are the dates that we're going to shoot for. I've already modified the estimate and budget request due dates, but for a public hearing and a budget work session, this is what we're going to strive for. A lot of it, some of it will depend on when I get evaluations from the county. And of course, cities have no control over that. Luckily, our county is very, very good and is super about getting those numbers down possible. So anyway, if anyone has any
Okay.
And that's that Tuesday, which is 20th.
Martin Luther King.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
When that's celebrated. So this council meeting will be moved to Tuesday. That's all I have. Oh, I do have information on the Master or the Municipal Leadership Academy. So that information after the election, I will get that information out to all of you.
When will we get our books then, tentatively?
Well, you won't get the books until January,
Okay.
so it'll probably be, I'm hoping, the week before. We'll see.
There was some discussion that people wouldn't mind getting together maybe on a Saturday morning or something to go through some of the preliminary stuff. But,
Budget stuff?
yeah, looking at the books, that would be, we can discuss that later and whatever. Maybe there are some that would like to do it, some that wouldn't. There was some discussion on that part. Okay. Kristen, you have news?
I do have news. I am very happy to report that we have hired a new children's and young adult librarian. Rachel Shea Button will be relocating to Iowa at the end of November to join our team at the library. Rachel has over a decade of experience in education, teaching everything from first graders through undergraduates. She's taught in a variety of disciplines and a variety of venues. She also has a Master of Fine Arts and Creative Writing from Iowa State. So we are just extremely pleased at the many skills and experiences that she brings to the table, and we think she's going to be a really great fit for our ever-growing and evolving children's and young adult program. Thank you, Mayor, and thank you to Wanda for participating in that process. We also involve members of our staff, of the public, of both the Library Board of Trustees and the Friends Board, so we were very happy both with the process and the outcome. Speaking of the Friends Board, this is National Friends of Libraries Week. I shared their most recent newsletter with you tonight just to kind of highlight the many things that they do for us, both financially and in other ways throughout the year. They've been very generous with both funding and time, and we appreciate their efforts. If you're looking to A, support the cause, and B, get off the hook for cooking dinner, we are doing a fundraiser with Culver's on Wednesday night from 5 to 9 p.m. Culver's will be generously donating 10% of their profit that evening to the event. And if you need any more fun in your week beyond that, we will be having live exotic animals at the library on Saturday. There are 3 shows available. Bring the kids, bring the adults, bring everybody. Just don't forget to register online. It should be a really good time.
Could you give the times of the shows again, if you have it?
If I had my calendar in front of me, I
That's
would.
okay. Are they,
They're all in the afternoon.
and is it 3 you said?
There are 3.
Okay.
We're filling the first 2 first,
Okay,
and then we'll go from there.
okay,
But those times are on our website and Facebook. I just
okay.
both of them.
That sounds like that'd be fun, I think. I'm not sure I want to hold them, but,
How's the construction going?
Well, you might not be surprised to know that they did not work on our roof today. But materials are there, and they did get a start at the end of last week. That part of the project has been delayed just a little bit because of all the rain that we've had lately. But otherwise, we're pretty well on target and moving forward.
very good. Todd?
The 2019 maintenance on the fire hydrants and flushing is about coming to an end. And we disinfected well number 7 over the weekend. We flushed it this morning. We're going to do a little more flushing tomorrow, and then samples it we went to the lab, so hopefully by Wednesday or Thursday that will be done.
Very good. Randy?
I have nothing this evening, Mayor.
Emily?
On Thursday night at 7 p.m. in Valders, the Center for Sustainable Communities is hosting Chuck Marone, who is the author of Strong Towns. Yeah, he's a city engineer. I've gotten really good feedback from folks in the Decorah community, really interested. And actually, we've got a contingency from El Cater coming. He's got a podcast on how to build resilient, financially responsible communities. And I think it'll be a great time to engage in community dialogue. Apparently, his presentation is really it's not just him lecturing the whole time. He'll engage in discussions and such. I'm really excited for it. So inviting the community and hoping a lot of city folks can come up Thursday night at 7 p.m.
Andy?
I've received a couple more emails regarding the rooster situation, so I'll forward those to Chad, and he can forward those out to everyone. Other than that, public safety meeting, I think, here
Okay.
after this, shortly following, so
I appreciate that.
that's about it.
I got one too. Do you want me to forward on roosters?
Sure.
Sure.
I didn't get anything about roosters.
You know,
I'm sorry.
that's okay. Putting seriousness aside, that, you know, it is a comical conversation, but also it was hard to believe that somebody would alter their life to the extent that it was. So it is a serious thing as well. So,
I think it also addresses the noise generally in town and people's concerns about it and how we deal not just with roosters and that personal noise, but actually our noise in the general community. There was a very interesting discussion with community members talking about the new Rochester and how the whole community can look at strategic planning together, Luther, hospital, different organizations, the city, how we can all look toward what our plans are in the future and how we'll make it a really strong community with our liberal arts school and the new impetus at Mayo and what they're doing and how we can maybe grab a little bit of that energy and utilize it for our benefit too here in Decorah. So that was pretty exciting to be part of. I will be attending the Building Sustainable Communities Conference this Thursday and Friday in Dubuque, and will be happy to report when I get back. That's all I have, Mayor.
okay.
We had 2 sessions regarding Locust Road today, very well attended. One was at Veniam, one was here at City Hall. Lots of good input, lots of good feedback, and it's just exciting to have the project going forward and having the city be doing an excellent job. Just a shout out, I know Jeremy's gone, but to Jeremy and his crew for getting a good chunk of street work done, improving all of our lives. So I appreciate it.
Is it we are borrowing a machine to do that on our own?
No, the overlay that's been done has been contracted. We do have a new machine that we're utilizing in some places that can do chip and seal, but it's that's more surface coat.
Thank you.
Nothing, Mayor.
Okay. You've seen information I put out about the Decorah area civic leaders announced that our new community forum for public conversation. I've been working with Lisa Scott from Luther, president of Equity and Inclusion and Student Success. She's also on the Human Rights Commission. It's an opportunity to be able to just have people meet, hopefully on a regular basis. This happens to be on the 4th Thursday, and it'll be at Java John's from 5 to 6. Participants for what we're coming up for Thursday hope to be myself, Chad, perhaps Jennifer Ward, if she can get away, but also Dave Smutzler will be there, Mark Lane from the school district, Bob Hari from the campus security might be there too, and it's a time when people can come in and just chat and talk. It's not a sit-down lecture, it isn't formed, but we're hoping to have it available when constituents really want to know what's kind of going on. They can go to a certain spot. The next one in November will be actually up at Luther on Tuesday because the 4th would be Thanksgiving, and we'll be going up there to the new display that they have on race. So it's an opportunity for individuals to interact with a wide variety. Let's see. Also, I met with the Emergency Management Commission. I am a part of that as it's a municipality commission. And we met on Thursday, and we are looking at, we've been asked to look at the potential to be able to have the dispatch under the emergency management. There's a lot of information to go through. There's a lot of things to consider. And so I'll be bringing back more information on that as that goes along. We also met with the Board of Supervisors this morning, and they had plenty of questions. So my main goal is to go around and see what questions people have, or how it works, what would be the savings from city, county, so there'll be a lot more information coming on that. I've also initiated, which, and I started with Emily, was inviting each of the city council people individually to go out to the training center. And we went out and looked, and I had seen some of it, so I was just watching everything that was going on out there. But it's amazing what they're doing, where they've gotten in kind, what the building looks like. They showed us some of the rooms where they've already done training. And so I'll be asking different people to go with me, understanding that I know your schedules are busy if you can't, but if you ever get a chance and there's somebody out there, just stop and go in and say, hey, can't you take a look and see what's going on? It's really quite amazing.
It was very impressive and really fun, and it's incredible what they've gotten done and donations, and yeah, great teamwork. I was really
They're having a
impressed.
pretty good time at work.
And it was cold, and yeah, it was very impressive.
So I think that's all I have. Anything else? We have a meeting afterwards. Okay.
So moved.